If you like notes of leather, oak, slightly sweet, tiny bit of spice on the mouth, good amount of spice on the retro, just want to grab a couple extra sticks to have with bourbon, this would go good with bourbon. Whoa! You know how long it took them to review this cigar? 2.5 hours! Okay, guys, we're doing a review in the new studio today. We got the Stallone, the pony. Now, I have to give you the premise on why I'm reviewing this cigar. Johnny, you remember Tony Barrios from Stallone?
Yeah, when he came over.
Did the pink couch. He was like the first guy we had on the pink couch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool dude.
Yeah.
So he called me last week, and he is like very upset. Like, not angry, like heartbroken. And I was like, what's up, man? And he was like, did you see the review? And I was like, what review? And he was like, Halfwheel. And I was like, nah,
Oh my God.
I don't really like read that. Like that once in a while I catch up on the site, but and he was like, they gave me a 66. Whoa, 66! And he was, bro, like, you gotta understand these people in this industry, especially a lot of the ones that we're working with, the people who are actually making the cigar, and I think a lot of reviewers don't take that into account. And listen, honesty is great to a degree, but then there's like layers to this thing. So I was like, listen, just let me, I'll review this cigar for you. Now I'm not gonna do this for every brand that gets a bad review, but it intrigued me. 66. Now, let's talk about the cigar for a minute. The cigar's $4.
Wow.
And you know he makes great stuff.
He made great stuff, yeah.
So the fact that he made a $4 cigar basically tells me he's not making a dime on it, and or if he is, he's making a dime on it, and that he's trying to do something for the people that need daily smokes and don't have a huge budget. That hits me in the heartstrings right there. So let's check out the cigar. I just get like a faint, I get a little bit of like an apple butter and like a faint wood, a faint cedar. It almost smells like a dusty, not dusty, but like an old, piece of wood that lost its aroma. There's not much going on there. A little minerally too. Cold draw. It's just leather. It's like a leather shop all day long with this thing. 4 by 58, I believe. 4.5 by 58. So you get an inch for every dollar. Okay. Does it say anything else about it, where it's made? This is a Sumatra wrapper, long filler, handmade. He's a horse guy, so Nicaragua, blended by Tony. He does all his own stuff. That's why he's a part of this craft movement. It's about the people that are making their own products. So, did I miss anything? The foot? Leather and that faint wood. Nothing. A lot of people talking about bigger ring gauges and single flame. I don't have a problem. Look, I keep it right in the middle, and then I let it start going around.
Using the Privada lighter.
I am. It's sold out. All
already?
gone. Yeah, all gone. Cutters are almost gone too. They'll probably be gone by the time we drop this video. White hot.
Smells good.
If this doesn't score well, we can't put it out. Imagine he comes to like, oh,
No,
I'm like, oh, don't worry, I'll review it, and it's like it's a 48. It's definitely not starting off as a 48. I don't love the
You
cold.
hesitated.
No, it's not. It's
No.
not starting out low at all.
Yeah.
I hesitated because I can't believe this is a $4 stick. Tony,
Oh,
you're out of
okay.
your mind, dude. What are you doing? Like,
Now, do you have the cigar in the shop?
mm-hmm.
He sent you the box?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
I asked the distributor to send it to me.
I agree.
So I'm sure we have it. We have all of his other stuff. The shop is not my thing. That's not what I do. Eddie does that. So I don't even pay attention. You want to be in the shop? Be in the shop. Not gonna cock block anyone. You know, the box is my baby. The LCA is our baby.
Okay.
That's where, you know. But the shop is becoming a great place for cigar manufacturers to get a good start, you know? And I say manufacturers because a lot of the brands you go through and you're like, I've never seen this before. They're coming out of factories. Like, these are guys that actually made cigars for other people in a lot of cases. And they have their own brand. They're just not good marketers. Vanilla, cedar, oak, creamy as F, creamy AF, really creamy. I mean, I'm guessing it probably costs half the price to make the cigar. That's typically what it takes, right? And then everyone's splitting up that other 50%. In which case, man, I mean, to make this for $1 or $2, that would be really hard. I get test blends from people all the time. This would be on my to potentially use list. So I am not just not hating this. I'm digging it. I love the size too. I'm a big gordito.
$4 is a great stick.
For $4, it's a fantastic stick. It's not a great stick. It's fantastic for $4.
What do you call cigars that you just want to have there to smoke when you just don't want to?
Daily smoke.
The daily smoke. It's a good daily smoke. Okay.
This would make it into farm roll, that's for sure. And that's that price range. Love that band that he does. There is tannin in here. If I'm looking for something bad in here, there is tannin in here.
Can you tell me what tannin is?
Yeah, so tannin is like what you get out of a red wine. It's what you get when you eat spinach sometimes, that tannin-y after thing in your mouth where it's like minerally, you know? And some people like tannin in wine. By the way, it fixed itself completely.
Nice.
Some people like tannins in wine. In cigar, tannins go away over time. Cool investment to buy a couple boxes of these since they're cheap and just let them sit for a couple years?
So
sure.
aging gets rid of tannin.
Aging gets rid of tannin over time. Remember, we talked about that second fermentation. That's where all the negatives start to go, the positives stay, hopefully, and there becomes this moment in time where the cigar is perfectly ripe and ready to smoke. And these are young, for sure. If you like notes of leather, oak, slightly sweet, tiny bit of spice on the mouth, good amount of spice on the retro, and you're, you know, down on your luck or just want to grab a couple extra sticks to have with bourbon, this would go good with bourbon. Then
I like the size for a morning, even though
I
it's
love
probably
this
a little
size.
strong, but whatever.
I would see a lot of full body guys doing this for the morning because it doesn't kill you with the pepper, and while it does have some tannin, it doesn't have a long finish of where it, you know, bites you in the back of the throat or anything. There's nothing negative about it in that sense. It's not making my mouth water tremendously or anything like that. I feel like I keep getting hit with this like a little whiff of like an actual banana peel for some reason. I don't know why. It can't be a real thing. I just keep getting this like banana peel thing.
I don't know. I just get like crust, like a burnt crust.
And a lot of people, I think they bash Halfwheel on like the flavor notes that these guys give. And to them, I have to say, I call them phantom flavors. This is the olfactory sense. To the OGs that say, oh, you can't possibly get marshmallow in this. There's only a few. Yes, to a degree, there is only on the actual smoke, but the things that it creates, the memories it conjures up, the reminders of aromas that it conjures up, can get you to another level of flavors. Some people never reach that. Some people are super tasters. They have more taste buds in their tongue. You can test for that at home. There's a million different things. But to tell someone that they cannot get certain flavors, why not? It has to do with your senses and your imagination.
And the cigar, I would say.
Your cigar, yeah, of course the cigar.
I only get the toasted marshmallows on Connecticut's, nowhere else.
But you interpret that as toasted marshmallow.
True.
A guy at the factory that's been doing this for 40 years says it's sweet. Do you understand the difference?
Yeah.
Okay, so he looks at us and goes, these kids don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And to him, I say, if it brings up things that remind you of it, I call that phantom flavors, and those are real, man.
All right, so before we get to the second third, can you just tell me why I got the score? Was it a 68?
66, I think.
66, okay.
Yeah. I don't know. We will read that review. Let's get to that. That'll be entertaining. So second, third. Charred applewood, sweet, creamy, oaky finish, minerally on the mouth. The tannins are still there a little bit on the finish on the back of the mouth. Nothing offensive, just there. Definitely an oaky finish, sweet, creamy. I'll tell you the retro. Oaky and white pepper flush.
Okay, so you had some shift in there.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
A little bit of dynamic.
For sure, shift.
Okay.
Yeah. Should we read the review?
Let's read it.
All right. Starts out drier than I was expecting with flavors of nuttiness, leather, creaminess, white pepper. So I get those things. Dry, I wouldn't. Tanniny. There's tannins in there for sure. And that's not a bad thing. And most people, like Johnny, honestly, and no offense to anyone, like most people probably wouldn't pick out the tannins. Or even say it was a dry smoke.
You associate
That's my
tannins with
elevated
dryness?
palate. What?
You associate...
He's associating tannins with dryness, and tannin can make your mouth feel dry, sure. There's some reprieve in the second third of Stallone the Pone. It's a lot of the same flavors, but grains, earthiness, mustiness. But it's slightly less bitter than before. In the very beginning, I did get a little bit of bitter. Okay, so we're getting a lot of the same flavors. Let me see if that mustiness is there, because I like a little mustiness. Construction remains excellent. By the final third, I'm starting to feel the strength. I'm starting to feel the strength a little bit too. My brain leads me to be thinking I shouldn't keep smoking. But this is a cigar review and I keep going. The grain flavors return. Earthiness, pepper. Finish sees brown mustard. Almost gets in line with the level of earthiness. Some nuttiness emerges. Retrohales have dry earthiness over grains. So he said, because I don't have very many nice things to say about this cigar, I will start off with the positives. Okay. First of all three cigars had excellent construction start to finish. Second, you don't see a lot of new cigars offered with less than $5 MSRP. Oof. And see, this is where I feel like Halfwheel needs to chill the fuck out, man. Like, why do you have to write this part? There are many great parts of my job, but having to review cigars like this is not one of them.
Well,
that's not objective, is it?
Are you gonna always be looking for great cigars? I mean, that's reviews. Like,
well, then that's another thing that I want to talk about. Because if I'm gonna review a brand's cigars, I'm not gonna pick the cheapest brand. Like, I don't go around reviewing Padron 1000s. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna pick the cheapest. Now, I might do a segment called like cheap cigar review, right? Let me keep this thing going here.
but I feel like that.
Don't you feel like you're just setting the brand up for a bad review? Like, for instance,
No.
the only real incident we ever had with them was the barbecue pig. And throughout the entire review, he keeps saying, the pig is my least favorite Vitola. Well, we put out a cigar every single month for the LCA. We put out 3 cigars a month in the box. So all these cigars, a lot of them are getting rave reviews online and social media, right? But you picked the one cigar that you know you're going to have a bad time with. That's why when I saw a pig reviewed as an 83, now I know a pig to get anywhere in the 80s is probably a damn good pig. Not, again, also not my favorite cigar in the world, but why pick that one? But that's not our business. Whoa. You know how long it took them to review this cigar? 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours. 66 was the score. 2.5 hours for this? And so there begins another issue of professional online reviewers. I could go on and on about this. Number one, you're being paid by sponsors to do it. So, guarantee you top 25 lists will typically have the paid sponsors in those lists. It's just the way of the world, man. You got a business to run. If your business is reviewing cigars, you're taking money to review cigars. So, how you're supposed to be unbiased in that situation. Like, and it's even as simple as this. It doesn't necessarily mean that the cigars from those companies are going to get better ratings, but it's going to mean things like cigars you probably, if you're into what these people call boutique cigars, which the boutique cigar movement is coming to a closure. We're now in the craft cigar movement. What I mean by that is we're not just smoking some guy creates a brand, doesn't tell you who makes it, puts it out, and everyone goes and runs out to buy it because some chick in a Porsche is smoking the cigar in an advertisement and you run out and buy it. Now we're talking about the manufacturers. This guy blends his own stuff. Okay, I'm not saying that didn't happen in the boutique movement, but we're starting to focus more on the actual people making the cigars and shining light on them. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I just got a little bit of floral. After reading the nuttiness, yeah, there's nuttiness in here for sure. Tannin. Sure, mouth is, it's like drinking a red wine. It gives you a little bit of that tannin. Leather all day, and there's this like, I want to call it applewood. Like when you get like applewood smoked bacon, something like that. Yeah, I have a problem with that, with the whole, like, we're getting away from that. Like, you know, yeah, I'm a millionaire, so now I'm going to put out my own cigar line, and I'm not going to tell anyone where it's from, and all this, you know, reviewing cigars that are, you don't know where they're from and who made them, and I don't know. I'm just not into it. Oh, this has a lot of comments for a Halfwheel post.
Not good?
No, not at all.
Against the cigar or the article?
Wow, against Halfwheel, against, oh my God, how can a person like this do this review full of hate? Seems like you definitely have zero taste in your cigars. All right, let's not get crazy here. What an inaccurate review. This is one of my favorite smokes and brand. Pony Cigar got a 93 rating by Stogie Press. I would not rate this cigar a 93, but I certainly wouldn't rate it a 66. I'd be closer to the 93 than the 66, but I won't be. So far, I'm in the 80s in this, you know. And for a $4 cigar, that's what you get. Wow, they're going ham on the reviewer. This article sounds to me like you got paid to do it for someone. I don't know about all that. Oh, that's interesting. Look, right here, someone says, here's a question. Isn't reviewing a product of one of your sponsors a conflict of interest? Mr. Manano, do we have a heartbeat? It's as bad as his stupid comment. And in an ideal, and no offense to anyone who wrote that, Stuart or whoever, if that's your real name. In an ideal world, this is Charlie Minato of Halfwheel writing this. I'm shocked that he responded to this. I'm very curious to know the answer to this. In an ideal world, this website would function more like Consumer Reports. None of our revenue would come from people who's paid for product reviews. I'm not sure that's realistic given the niche of premium cigars. I think that Halfwheel's track record with reviews provides plenty of evidence that advertising on Halfwheel doesn't much seem to correlate with higher scores. And he gives some references. What a disrespectful comment. Personally, I've tasted the cigar and completely disagree with Mr. Minato. There's another guy in here that talks about the 2.5 hours. Why would it take someone 2.5 hours? That's not how you smoke a cigar, basically. Fake news. Okay, so they're really getting 2.5 hour average smoke time. It's a small stick. Maybe the problem was that it was sopping wet or something. That's a 70-minute smoke all day. Wow, honest review. I love it when people see a negative review or a bad review and go, "Oh, thanks for the honest review." Who the fuck? It's personal taste. At the end of the day, cigar reviews are subjective, right? Is it subjective? They're not objective. It's almost impossible. And I talk to people in coffee and wine about this, and they all have similar things to say. No matter how detailed you get in that review structure, the construction of what it takes to review that cigar, which they do not list what those things are. At the end of the day, the person reviewing it has the most influence on that score. I'm getting smoky, woody, creamy, slightly sweet, little floral, some nuttiness, and a little white pepper. I got that applewood thing going. I got a mineral thing going. I got a little bit of white pepper. It's less intense now in the retrohale. I have, that's about it. Flavors are kind of mending into a charred wood, creamy smoke. It's lost a lot of the sweetness. It's like a smoking a bourbon barrel kind of thing, man. That's how I feel. Oak on the finish. I'm gonna give it a score of 83. I have to consider the price. Considering the price, it might go up to like an 85-ish. Can't imagine you're gonna get a much better smoke for under $5. With bourbon, you're gonna be fantastic with this smoke. Drinking the bourbon is going to get rid of the tannin, and you're going to have a nice woody smoke that's gonna complement a woody, weeded bourbon.